Now, The Hunt Palmer Show.
Waiting to rise again.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show. Brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is the moment you've all been waiting for.
Locking down the middle of the day. Live from the Raising Cane studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
Welcome in! Hunt Palmer coming to you from the Raising Cane studio downtown in the capital city on this Friday. It's a wet one out there. Hope y'all are staying safe and somewhat dry. And I hope that work week is in the rearview mirror. We're brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp. Got Jordan Kitchens, Cassie Spazzali back there on the ones and twos. Another grab bag today just full of sports across the board. We'll talk in 15 minutes to Preston Guy about LSU in recruiting. Got some thoughts on LSU and Georgia from Foley Field. You'll get mine right now. You're going to get Anthony Dashers, who covers Georgia, in an hour and a half. LSU's got another basketball commitment. Saints rookie minicamp starts today, so I'm going to kind of react to what I see on the internet. We fall at a bad time of the day for Saints coverage today because I've asked two different beat writers. They're going to be at practice like right now, and then practice will end while we're still in the air, but then they go into the locker room for interviews. So I'm going to be kind of picking through the social media stuff, and I'll have some reaction in hour number 2 about Saints rookie minicamp cranking up, and we'll certainly have a lot of reaction to that on Monday. But today's just kind of an awkward time for us. I think you'll get a lot more of that from Matt 3 to 6 this afternoon on After Further View. But we're fired up to be here. Hope you are as well. Let's crank it up.
Welcome to the big league.
It's time for Hunt's Opening Drive. Presented by Fabry Chevrolet GMC in St. Francisville.
All right, you got 6 games to make something happen, Fighting Tigers, and they'll start that this afternoon. Is that fair? Evening, probably a little bit more out. 5 o'clock Central Time from Athens, Georgia. LSU and Georgia from Foley Field. Georgia this year under Wes Johnson, 38-11 on the season. They are 18-6 to lead the Southeastern Conference by 2.5 games. They have had a really, really good season. They've got a talented pitching staff. They've got a lineup that really, really hits, really gets on base, scores a lot of runs, and as you well know, hits the ball out of the ballpark as well as anybody in the country. In fact, better than everyone else in the country, especially in that ballpark, and that's where LSU's got to take them on. I was looking at their home record this year, and something stood out to me. It's that they have not played the best teams in the SEC on their home field. They have traveled for those games. Now, give them credit. They went to Starkville and swept Mississippi State. That's real playing. They went to College Station, and for 2 days, they just annihilated Texas A&M. Now, the Aggies got them in Game 3, but they wiped the floor with them. They went to Fayetteville, Arkansas, and played a hell of a weekend up there on the hill. So it's not as if Georgia's not tested. Georgia's plenty tested. But on their home field, let me tell you what they've done. They played Tennessee. And they split the first 2 games of that weekend. In the third game of the weekend, Tennessee had the tying run on base and the go-ahead run in the batter's box. The ball was hit high and deep to left field, and the Georgia left fielder robbed a home run to end the rubber match and keep the go-ahead run from scoring on the homer. Like, that's as close as a weekend series can be. Tennessee played them to that. Now, they swept South Carolina and Missouri at home, as they should, no doubt. But Florida went in there and took 2 out of 3. Now, Florida's starting pitching staff with Aiden King up top and Liam Peterson there in the 2-hole, or vice versa, whatever order they were throwing them at that time. They've switched them back and forth. But that's a really talented pitching staff, and LSU doesn't really counter that. Schmidt and Paz are talented dudes, but Peterson and King have got a lot more skins on the wall. But you look at that, like, Tennessee and Florida have played these guys straight up on that field. Missouri and South Carolina didn't, and Georgia's gone on the road and done a great job. But it's not like they're unbeatable on that field. That's all to say, Georgia's better than LSU. They have a better team than LSU. They've got more proven arms. They've gotten more consistent starting pitching. They're far better on defense. They hit a lot more home runs. They're better. So LSU's task this weekend in Athens is to play its best baseball of the season. That's the task. And you're going to have to do it tonight against Joey Volchko. Now, let me tell you about Joey Volchko. He's 6'4". He's a junior right-hander from Stanford. They brought him over, and when they brought him over from Stanford, he was a big fireball and right-hander. huge fastball, but his ERA at Stanford was 6 in the ACC. Still hard to piece together, but Stanford is in the ACC. So Wes Johnson's brought him in, and they've made some tweaks. And his numbers are not the same. He's far more effective, but he doesn't pitch to the strikeout quite as much. In SEC play this year, and these are a lot of numbers, but work with me, he's got 41 innings. In those 41 innings, 52 strikeouts, good number, 24 walks. So he's walking more than one every 2 innings. He's given up 18 earned runs on 37 hits in 41 innings. So about a hit an inning, about a walk every other inning. He's giving up some traffic. And I'll tell you that there were 3 teams that have had some success against Joey Volchko. A&M did. They knocked him out in the 2nd inning. Arkansas did, and Ole Miss did. In those 3 games, A&M, Arkansas, Ole Miss, A&M's offense is way better than LSU's. Arkansas's is not, and Ole Miss is kind of boom or bust. 12 and a third innings, 11 runs, 10 earned runs in 12 and a third innings, 19 strikeouts, 13 walks in 12 and a third. He's only given up 1 homer, but 13 walks in 12 and a third. He's got a 97-mile-an-hour fastball. He also throws a 95-mile-an-hour cutter. So that's really difficult. The fastball is going to move to the arm side. The cutter is going to move to the glove side. He's got a hard 88-mile-an-hour slider, and he's got this loopy 79-mile-an-hour curveball. It's a lot of pitches. It's a lot of stuff. You'll see the windup, elbows, kneecaps flying everywhere, and he's got a big arm. He's a big-time draft prospect, no doubt. Is he the best ace in the Southeastern Conference? No. He's not better than Tomas Valenkis, who LSU saw. I don't know that he's a lot better than Ant Phillips, who LSU knocked around from South Carolina last week. Phillips has had a better year this year. But he's talented, and he can get going, and he can strike guys out. LSU has got to try to get him out of the ballgame. There are some instances where I don't really care if you get into the bullpen or not. It's all kind of the same. Once you got past Phillips last week with South Carolina, whatever. The starter's the same as the reliever. I don't really care about pitch count. This weekend's not like that. I want these starters out of the game. I want to get into Georgia's bullpen rather quickly. Dylan Vigneault is the second pitcher. Georgia has not lost an outing by Dylan Vigneault, who will throw tomorrow, since the first weekend of the year. That's the last time they lost when Dylan Vigneault started. He's another right-hander, a little bit smaller, but still big arm, 94-mile-an-hour sinker. It's heavy sink, and he's got an 86-mile-an-hour slider that is really sweepy. In SEC play this year, he's been good. 27 innings, only 8 earned runs. Opponents hit 200 against him. And pitching in that ballpark, only 1 home run allowed in Southeastern Conference play for Vigneault this year. Let me be clear about something beyond that. Those are the 2 pitchers you'll see from Georgia. We'll talk about the lineup. You know how that looks, and we'll talk to Anthony Dasher about it coming up in the second hour as well. But Jay Johnson has to be vigilant this weekend. What do I mean? Well, you need to. You need to win 2. And so you need to do everything you can to secure one when it presents itself. But here's the deal. If you get 2 and you lose the third one by 11, it doesn't matter. So here's how he has to manage today. This is a today-only thing. It doesn't really apply to Saturday and certainly not Sunday, but to today, it does apply. If Schmidt gets lifted in the third and you're down 5-0, you got to go to Dax Dothy, and you got to go to some guys that haven't pitched high-leveraged innings. You cannot burn Sheeran, Cowan, Garcia, Fontenot, the guys that you really trust. You can't go to them unless you are tied or have a lead. So it's imperative for LSU to get off to a good start. Because if Schmidt gets chased after 2 1/3 and you're down 4-0 or 6-2 because they just hit a 3-run homer, you can't go to your A relievers with 2 games to go that you have to win. And if you go to your B and C relievers in that ballpark against that lineup, it's a problem. Okay, it's a problem. And you might get annihilated if you get down early. Now that's okay. They all count for 1. And I feel okay getting to the ball yard with Paz and Cowan and Sheeran and Fontenot and Garcia and those guys ready to go on Saturday. Okay? And Georgia doesn't have a Sunday starter. They've been TBA, and they'll figure something out on Sunday. And that's kind of a grab bag for both teams. But That's what I'm telling you about tonight. If you get into the fifth and Schmidt needs to be lifted and you're in a 5-5 game, well, yeah, give me a guy. I'm not saving Zach Cowan if you got a chance to win. But you do have to save those guys if you get behind tonight. So that's something that Jay Johnson's got to keep in mind. The worst thing that can happen for LSU is to throw Devin Sheeran 45 pitches tonight and lose. That's what you can't have. And you can't chase, especially if Volko's got it going. So LSU's offense needs to show up early in this game and get a lead so Jay Johnson can manage from out front. You did that against Mississippi State. It didn't work. I know. I saw it. I was there for every pitch. You did it against South Carolina. It did work. Keep in mind, every loss is the same. Every win is the same. So if you got to go to your relievers down the line to set yourself up for Saturday or Sunday because you're already behind, those are the breaks. So it's imperative for William Schmidt. I'm not asking you for 7 shutout. I'm asking you for 5 2/3, a 2-run baseball, and then the offense needs to be able to get 2 or 3 over that period so you can go to your A bullets and try to win a game early on. LSU's going to go out there and play with confidence tonight. They are. But the fact of the matter is if you get behind, you can't burn your bullpen guys when you have to win 2 games. The circumstances of this weekend are different than a lot of other weekends. You're playing a team that scores a lot of runs. You're playing in a ballpark that is comical in size, comical. And you're playing with a lot of injuries and with a limited number of bullpen guys that you trust. Plus, your back's against the wall and you have to get 2. So if you need to light one on fire, this is the one you can light on fire if you're down early. We'll see how Jay Johnson manages it, but it's very, very important that LSU doesn't burn A relievers when you're losing. And that really even means if you're down by 1. Like maybe if you're down by 1 in the 8th, you might think about going to a reliever. But you're down by 1 in the 4th and Schmidt's got to come out, you got to be careful because you just can't burn your guys if you lose the game. It's a hard spot to manage from, but LSU has put themselves in that tenuous spot because of awful baseball in the middle of their season where you went 9-9 and bad baseball at the beginning of the season where you lost some games to some teams that just flat aren't any good. So LSU's playing great. They've got some confidence. I'm fully aware of what their competition level has been the last 5 games, but they're doing things a little bit better. I'm going to talk about their defense a little bit later on, talk about some of Georgia's offensive guys, and we'll hear from Anthony Dasher in an hour and 15 minutes about this from the Georgia perspective. But Georgia's close to the finish line on a top 8. They probably need to win 1 or 2 more games. Their level of urgency is not through the roof. LSU's is. You need to take it to them tonight if you possibly can behind your most talented starter in a ballpark you can hit it. Got to keep it rolling. That's the opening drive, LSU and Georgia tonight. 5 o'clock Central Time, 4:30 pregame on Eagle 98.1 over there from Foley Field. Let's take a time out. Preston Guy had some spirited thoughts on Twitter about the 24-team playoff. We'll also talk a little recruiting. What's the latest with Easton Royal? LSU looking for a 5-star corner as well. We'll talk all LSU football with Preston coming up.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Boudreaux's Electrical Services. BoudreauxElectrical.com is the website. Some call it over-planning, but at Boudreaux's Electrical Services, we call it foresight. Like today, you've got one of those nasty storms rolling through. We know what those can be like in the summer in South Louisiana. It's just a drag to lose power for 5 hours because a thunderstorm rolled through, and we know that can happen. What's worse is if there's a hurricane rolls through, you'd like to ride it out, but you lose power for 8 days. That's just untenable. You can't live here during that. You got a 94-degree house. Just take that risk away. Boudreaux's Electrical will install that Generac home standby generator so you've got the peace of mind of knowing your power is not going to go out. You can get a Generac home standby generator from big box stores. You can. The service at Boudreaux's Electrical. Neil and Melissa have been doing it for 40 years. It's just different. 985-397-1562 is the number. You can also call the Gonzales location at 225-300-9389. Or do the easy thing. Go online, BoudreauxElectrical.com. BoudreauxElectrical.com.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
At Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer, we know you deserve value when you purchase equipment. Right now, take advantage of the powerful 3025E tractor for just $297 a month. with 0% financing for 72 months. Tractor packages with a trailer also available. Whether you're tackling land, property, or projects, get your job done. Don't wait. This offer ends June 30th, 2026. Some restrictions apply. Visit sunequip.com or stop by a Sunshine location today.
As a business owner, you're always focused on how you can improve the bottom line. Well, when was the last time you shopped your insurance coverage? Insurance Network of Louisiana can help. If you're a business owner, let my friends at Insurance Network of Louisiana see if they can find you better coverage for less money. They always offer exceptional customer service and partner with only the best providers. So check them out online today at lainsurance.net.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
I'm Gabrielle McLeod on behalf of the Louisiana Propane Dealers. I have spent hundreds of hours preparing for scholarship competitions. That preparation paid off when I won the Fitness and Talent Awards along with the title of Miss Louisiana. The Louisiana Propane Dealers are also pretty talented and want you to be prepared for when the power goes out. Visit louisianapropane.com to find out about propane generators and other safety tips. Louisiana Propane, it truly is the fuel for our future.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home with personalized packages for short-term, long-term, or even around-the-clock care. Visit us at decisioncriticalbr.com and give us a call today to get started.
Supreme Jasmine.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp.
Hope y'all are staying safe. Relatively dry out there. It's a wet one here in South Louisiana. Got a lot to talk about here on this Friday. Brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp. Let's transition over to football. Preston Guy, TigerBait.com's with us on Fridays talking LSU football. Joins us now on the Jim's Firearms Hotline. Preston, how are you?
All right. How's it going? I just want to say this week you are my favorite media personality to come out of the city of Shreveport. Thanks for having me.
I've been reading up on Twitter. I see where you're going from that. A few back and forths from the 318. I get it. We'll be pleasant here. Let's talk a little bit about the expansion of the college football playoff to 24 teams, should that happen. I don't believe that's been signed off on, but the NCAA basketball tournament is being expanded to 76 teams, and everybody seems to believe that in a chase for cash, which is never ending, they're going to expand the football playoff to 24 teams. Doesn't sound like you're a huge fan.
No, and in fact, I wrote a whole column on it. 76 teams for basketball. It's kind of like, really? But, at the point basketball is, they're not looking for great teams to make it. I mean, you can lose 10 games in basketball. That's the nature of the sport. It's fine. Like, I dislike it, but I don't think it necessarily greatly changes the sport, particularly when the field of teams is much, much, much larger. Because you talk about all of Division I. There's no FBS, FCS split there. So do I get it? Yes, I get it for basketball. Football, it is going to be detrimental to the sport. Hunt, I mean, think of any great regular season game and the stakes in that game and the emotions that come when your team doesn't win or the emotions that come when your team does pull the win. Think about the hate watching you do in the Iron Bowl every year to see, man, Cam Newton is down, 28-7, boy, and then he comes back and kills Bama's chances at a title that year. I mean, these things are exciting not because not because you have to, do it for seeding. Like, oh, man, if we don't win this game, we're going to get a first round. We're not getting our first round bye, right? No, that's in college football, you are on the edge of your seat for these games in the regular season, all 12 weeks of it, by the way, because all it takes is slipping up once, and that can ruin your chances. Now, a 12 or 18 playoff, you basically get one mulligan, but that's still not much breathing room. You're still talking about great teams at the end of the season having to play as hard as they can. When you do 24, you know what the most compelling matchup to see what team would have made the playoffs last year in a 2014 playoff? We're talking 8-3 Iowa versus 8-3 Nebraska. And we all know neither one of those teams are truly great. Basically what I'm saying is the college football, what makes it the greatest sport on earth, and I will stand by that to the day I die, it is the greatest sport on earth. What makes it the greatest sport is you use the regular season to identify the great teams, not the good teams, not the all right teams, the great teams, and then a limited playoff field is where you let those truly great teams, I'm talking teams that have an argument that, well, maybe they were the best team this entire regular season, and let them settle it on the field. I think they should go to 8. I think 24 is madness. I think 24 will do long-term damage to the sport. And I think, the AFCA, the coaches board, these are people voting on that to happen who have direct gain from this. They get bonuses and job security based on making the playoffs, and they're just voting to lower their own bar. I think it's madness, and I think that the people making decisions are looking to make short-term financial gains, and they're willing to make a long-term sacrifice to the sport we all love for it. The fans do not want this, by the way. Overwhelmingly, the fans are opposed to this. So, yeah, I feel pretty passionate about it.
Let me play devil's advocate because I said yesterday I love 12. I think that's great. I think having more teams interested in November is good. I think you've used the law of diminishing returns once you go to 24. So I'm opposed to it as well, but I'll play devil's advocate for the discussion. What if they're chasing money, which is what they're doing, and you say, okay, we're going to go to 24 teams, and then the conference commissioners go to the athletic directors and the coaches and say, hey, we need money. You need money for players. We need revenue sources to make all this happen. You get a mulligan here because we've gone to 24. Maybe a third loss is okay. We're going to start scheduling big boys in the non-conference because the television money is the biggest money. They want big matchups. We're cutting out some of these Louisiana Techs and North Texases, and we're going to go schedule out of the Big Ten. Would that be then a net positive for college football if that decision is made based on a 2014 playoff that allows a slip-up in the non-conference?
No, because those matchups still mean less, right? They absolutely do mean less still because you can still lose these big-time games. The reason why you're now more open to scheduling these big-time games under the scenario is because they matter less. So inherently, with this solution, you have created a bigger problem. There are alternate solutions that do not diminish the meaning of these games. You can require them. You can. Now, again, a lot of this is, has to be done at the NCAA level, and there are problems that the NCAA no longer has power to govern its sport, and you have to address those issues. But, you can mandate these things, right? You can also say, hey, committee, we need to start weighing in strength of schedule more than we have. You have to just stop looking at the number on the right hand of your record and then sorting the teams with the same number on the right side of the column of their record based on which one you think is better. Like, you have to start looking like, you know what? Maybe that 11-1 Big 12 team, maybe they aren't quite as good as the 10-2 team in the Big 10 or SEC, right? You have to start doing that, but that still doesn't create breathing room for that Big 10 and SEC team. They're still against the gun fighting as hard as they can. I mean, 10-2 is still a very high bar to make. When you start letting 8-4 teams in, come on, these aren't teams that belong on any national platform.
I don't disagree with you totally. I think we see a couple of things differently, but I'm on your side far more than the other side. I think that the move from 4 to 12 was great. I think 12 to 24 is goofy, but it is what it is, and they're just never going to stop chasing money. So that's the way we're going to have to live with. All right, let's talk LSU specifically. And Preston Guy, TigerBait.com, is with us. Couple of, one big commitment and some news on another 5-star from Louisiana. Let's talk about Ahmad Hudson first and how big a deal that is for Lane Kiffin's offense, and then we'll talk about Easton Royal after that.
Yeah, there's a lot of comps to Trey'Dez Green. He's a bit higher recruited, both in basketball and football. He's a much better basketball player. So there is some maybe excitement that he can bring something to the court for Will Wade. I mean, he's like a top 5 power forward, I believe. He's 6'6.5", long, athletic guy. He's a little bit bigger than Trey'Dez Green was in high school when he came out of Zachary High. So there's a hope there that maybe he can be a slightly better blocker than Trey'Dez Green has shown to be. But, I mean, they're built right in the same mold. This is an elite athlete. This is a guy who can line up wide. This is a guy who can play tight end for you. Just absolutely huge pickup. You're feeling really good about that. I mean, really good to keep a guy home, by the way. That's a big deal because this year's class is going to be stacked, and I think we were all interested to see. Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss did not recruit the high school rank in the elite classes. They kind of relied on the transfer portal to build that. But one of the things that makes the LSU job special is the fact that you have guys like Ahmad Hudson. You can just reel in from a couple hours up the road. These guys grow up rooting and loving LSU, and you can just kind of keep them home. It's kind of what makes the job special. So if you don't recruit these high school guys well, LSU kind of loses a little bit of what makes it a special job. So really big news to keep Ahmad Hudson. Hopefully they can keep it going with someone like Easton Royal.
How good do you feel about that? Obviously, he's been pretty vocal on social media, but still committed to Texas.
Yeah, and, worth noting, and I've talked to people who are close to those inside the building, they don't feel super bad about where they stand with Easton Royal because he actually committed to Texas the day before Lane Kiffin took the job at LSU. So it's not like the staff was recruiting him and he told them no. So there is some hope in that. Let's see here. Looks like he's got an official visit locked in to LSU this month, May 28th. That's huge news that he's taking his OB, not only taking it, but doing it pretty early here. I mean, that's going to show that LSU's got a very live chance. Ole Miss also feels really good about him. In fact, Ole Miss just landed a kid from Central right up the road there. And I believe there's some tie-ins there. If you start connecting the dots with coaches and whatnot, there's some tie-ins that's a play to get Easton Royal to Ole Miss. So they're very much still alive. Look, I think all 3 schools we're talking about here, Texas, Ole Miss, LSU, they're all alive for Easton Royal. I can tell you Easton Royal is there's a lot of pressure on him to stay home and play for LSU, including Peyton Houston. There's one guy who's very vocally coming after him. I mean, it's not a done deal by any stretch of the imagination, but my interpretation is that LSU is very much so alive and very much so wants him.
And then Josh Dobson is a big 5-star cornerback. I always trust Corey in these recruitments, but obviously he's got a fight on his hands for Dobson. How do you feel about that one?
Yeah, and Corey Raymond went to go visit him very recently.
Yep.
Now, the thing is about a guy like Josh Dobson, where there's no home field advantage, so to speak. Like he's from North Carolina, right? So it's like LSU has to go and be legitimately the best place for him to land when you land guys like this. But this isn't Corey Raymond's first time pulling in a 5-star corner like that. I mean, Elias Ricks is a guy who was number 1 out of California. And Corey Raymond just said, hey, come here, we're DBU. So we've seen this happen before. But it's just one of those things. We see A&M. We see a lot of guys lining up to get Josh Dobson. It looked a little bit more secure, actually, for LSU earlier in this process. But we talk about the number 2 corner in the country, a top 10 player overall. LSU's got their hat in there with everybody else, and they're going to have to fight and probably fight with their wallet if they want him. But he would be certainly an excellent addition to this roster, and a huge piece to add in because you're already figuring in that you've got a stacked year in Louisiana. You're going to have a good class. If you start adding a guy or two like that from out of state, all of a sudden we're talking about you're a top 5 class territory.
That would be pretty impressive for Lane Kiffin in his first full recruiting class here at LSU. Preston, have a great weekend. We appreciate it.
All right, talk to you soon.
Preston Guy, TigerBait.com here on this Friday. Friday show is brought to you by Corks, Cajun Fried Fish and Shrimp. Working for a late lunch. Check them out on Government between Foster and Jefferson. Get some of those jumbo Gulf shrimp, that crispy catfish, and, of course, the shoestring fries. I got your honey butter rolls, beignet bites as well. Tackle box meals for the kids. If you want to cater, they can do that as well. Big old trays of shrimp, catfish, fries, all the sauces your heart can desire. Always appreciate our friends at Corks for bringing you our Friday shows each and every week. We'll take a time out, come back. Got some thoughts on one aspect of LSU's team we're not talking about on the diamond that's getting a little bit better. We'll talk about it.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
One Bath and Closets. OneBathAndClosets.com is the website. David Duvall and his team, 30 years redesigning and remodeling bathrooms and closets. Closet space can be something that gets lost in the shuffle. It certainly did for me in my first house. And the wife-to-be, now wife, moved in and said, this is not going to work. Now, we were going to move, so we didn't call David Duvall. But if you're in a great spot, a great location, great house, but the closet space is a problem, customize those closets to exactly your specifications. David and his team can do it. Check out the pictures at onebathandclosets.com. You'll see the phenomenal work. It's customized, it's functional, it's also aesthetically pleasing. They do gorgeous work, and they do it right the first time and leave the competition behind. David starts that consultation with a discussion about what you're looking for. He gets that questionnaire from you to see what you need, and he'll customize a closet to your specs. Maybe you have the space already. You need to better utilize it. Maybe you need to build a new closet. David can do that as well. It's David Duvall in One Bath and Closets. Financing options are available, 0% up to 18 months, same as cash. It's all there online at onebathandclosets.com.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of J.B. Falgu.
When it comes to industrial construction, River Parish Contractors can do it all. Mechanical, structural, custom fabrication, specialized welding, and turnaround services. Strategically located in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, we have the local team with the experience and commitment to safety to manage the most complex industrial projects. Period. Here's the deal. Partnering with us means your project is delivered on time, on budget, and most important, safely. River Parish Contractors, let's get building.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here, we eat out here, we watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient. And you will have your pool in no time.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Corks, Cajun Fried Fish and Shrimp.
Not a great day to cut the grass today, just be honest. If that was in the plans for this Friday afternoon, you can go ahead and shelf that one. But you got to cut it at some point because it's going to be hot and wet around here for quite some time. If you need a new zero-turn mower, Gotros Outdoor Power is your spot. Family-owned and operated for 22 years. One location in Baton Rouge, one in Gonzales. If you think, oh, family-owned and operated, like what is this, a little corner store? No, it's not. You're talking about the largest Hustler inventory in the state by a long shot. You're talking about the largest parts inventory in the state as well. The National Hustler Dealer of the Year 2 out of the last 3 years. It's not small, but you get that small family-owned customer service feel when you buy your zero-turn from the folks at Gotros Outdoor Power. If you need a trailer to get it delivered, they got you covered there. You need parts, they've got trucks on the road every single day for 8 hours. That's the kind of customer service you get. Because you can buy that zero-turn mower from the big box store, but do they ever talk to you again? Probably not. At Gotros, you never have to worry about that. Gotro family's been at it for 22 years. Stop by Airline Highway in Baton Rouge or in Gonzales this weekend. They're open half a day on Saturday as well. Get that zero-turn Hustler and make sure your property is maintained for the growing season, which we are very, very firmly in. Find them online at GoTrosOnline.com. All right, I want to talk to you about LSU's defense here in a second, but let's just get you caught up on the injuries in case you did not hear about the injury report last night. Omar Cerna is not listed on the availability report. That is great news. Sounds like he will be able to go in some capacity. With a back issue that kept him out of the game on Tuesday, that's obviously a concern with him catching. And the concern there is not that he can't go out there and take 4 at-bats. His back was bothering him last weekend, and he homered against South Carolina, hit the ball into the gap in right center field. Like, he swung the bat well, and I anticipate he'll be able to give you some good at-bats this weekend. I don't know how his back feels exactly, but he's not listed on the injury report. He'll go. My concern on the other side is if Aaron Beatty's got to catch all 3 games, that's potentially sapping some of his energy at the plate, and you've got to have him swinging the bats right now. So we'll see if that means maybe an opportunity for Eddie Yaman to get back there and catch at some point. I wouldn't bet on that, but I'm just trying to think about different aspects because you can't have Aaron Beatty gassed because he's catching 27 innings and not able to give you his full commitment at the plate. So just something to keep an eye on. The rotation of Cerna and Aaron Beatty was just great to keep them off their feet one day at a time. But you're probably not going to have that with Cerna with the back injury, so we'll see. Kason Evans is questionable for the weekend. What does that mean to me? Well, it's an improvement because he was not even on the roster in Starkville. So, like, they have scrapped him. I mean, he was not on the roster last week, so they had scratched him completely, and he's better than that. He threw a bullpen on Wednesday. We'll see. I think if you get an inning out of Kason Evans, that's about as much as you can hope for this weekend. I would love it if they could get that. It would be such a shot in the arm. I wouldn't count on it. That's just where I am with pitchers' injuries. When they were saying, well, when Cooper Moore gets back, I'm going, I don't know if Cooper Moore is coming back, right? Kept saying, in the championship series, in 2024, well, Shores might pitch. It's like, but probably not. He had Tommy John. Probably not going to pitch. Like, pitchers' injuries, I'm just super cautious on, so probably won't see him. Chris Stanfield, questionable on the report. The problem with Stanfield is he's got 2 injuries. The hand is obviously bothering him to hit, right? And then what else does he bring you? Well, he brings you speed in the outfield and speed on the bases. Well, 1, it's hard to get on the bases when you can't really hit because your hand hurts. And 2, if you run at 70% on Tuesday, which he did, your speed's compromised. So I don't think you'll see Chris Stanfield this weekend, and that's a huge bummer. So that means in left field, probably a lot of Tanner Reeves and Eddie Yaman in left field, which is obviously you're compromised there. Those are not your A players. Now here's the deal with an injury that you'll roll your eyes at, but just work with me here. Zach York is on the injury report as well as questionable. He hurt his foot in Starkville, and that's one that everyone will go, well, Braun's playing great. Who cares? And Cerna's going to DH. Who cares? Sure, that's fine. But Zach York draws a lot of walks. He's left-handed. Georgia's entire pitching staff is right-handed. And the ballpark is comical to right field. So in the event that you do need a pinch hitter for a right-handed hitter in your lineup, or even, if Reeves is struggling or whatever the case may be, York is a reasonable option to come off the bench in that ballpark against an all right-handed staff and either draw a walk or run one out of a pathetic yard. So I would like to have Zach York available off the bench in this weekend. I don't know if he is or not. That's the injury side. Questionable for Evans, questionable for Stanfield. I don't expect to see him. Questionable for York. I would like to have him to at least swing the bat at some point in the weekend. The deal is that you're probably going to get Cerna back in the lineup tonight. We'll see at a DH spot. Now, here's something I wrote about this morning, which is LSU's defense. It's still not good, but it's a little bit better than it was. You are dead last in the SEC in fielding to this point. Dead last. You're fielding 965 on the season. That's almost 20 points worse than last year. But over the last 5 games, you only have 2 errors. And one of those was Stephen Milam kicking a ground ball, which, you know what? He's the best defensive player in the country. I'm not too worried about it. But outside of that, for 5 games, you only have 1 error. Mason Braun's been better at first. He's made a couple of picks. He's fielded some ground balls. Looks okay. Jack Ruckert has gotten comfortable at second base. He's a capable defensive player. He got out over his skis early in the season and didn't field a couple of double play balls, and you understand that can happen for a young player. I heard Jack Ruckert talk earlier this week on Tuesday, and I've never resonated more with an LSU player. I'll tell you that I can't resonate with 6'8" guys throwing down windmill dunks. I can't resonate with throwing 98-mile-an-hour fastballs. I can't resonate with running 4.3 40s or rushing the passer or trying to tackle a 215-pound SEC running back. Like I can't put myself in those shoes. You want that? The morning show can do it all day long. I can't do it. I don't try to do it. What I can do is relate to Jack Ruckert putting on that uniform. And for Jack Ruckert to put on that uniform, it means everything to him because he grew up in Louisiana. He grew up an LSU fan, a diehard fan. He's been to the box growing up. He knows how important LSU baseball is. And he knows when he steps on that field, oh, my God, I'm living a dream. I can't believe I'm here. Like, what does Stephen Milam from Las Cruces, New Mexico care? What does Paul Skeens from the Air Force Academy care about LSU's history? What does Tommy White care? He's from Florida. He went to NC State. Like, I just throw the uniform on, whatever. That's not the experience Jack Ruckert has when he puts that uniform on. For those guys I just mentioned, it's just the next team. For Ruckert, it's like your whole life in front of your eyes. And you saw that when he kicked those easy ground balls early in the season. And I think a lot of you, like me, can relate to that. Like if I put that jersey on, I would just be terrified. If I put on a uniform for Arkansas State, I just wouldn't care that much. I would want to win, but like this is LSU. This is Jack Ruckert's whole life that he's been working for. So I get that, and he's played a lot better. And when LSU makes 1 error or fewer this season, they are 21-12. That's a .656 winning percentage. They win 66% of their games when they make 1 or fewer error. When they make 2 or more, they're 8-9. That's a .470 winning percentage. And coincidentally, when you look at those numbers for the 1 error or less, that's .656 baseball, 66% baseball. That's what you need the last 6 games, 66%. You need 2 out of 3. You need 4 out of 6, 66%. When they make 1 error less, that's what they play at. So here's the deal with the defense. You're not as good as Georgia. They got starters with more skins on the wall. They got a more potent offense. They hit more home runs. They defend better. They're better than you. They are better than you. So to beat a team that's better than you, you have to show up and bring your A game. The 2023 LSU team could take on Missouri or whatever lower level team and make 2 errors and strike out with the bases loaded in the 4th and fail to get a bunt down, and they can still win the game. Because Skeens could strike out 16 guys, and Cruz could hit 3 doubles, and White could hit a grand slam, and like they didn't have to bring their A game every single time to win a game. In this instance, for LSU, with your talent level and your production this year against Georgia, you have to play clean. You got to play your best baseball. Defense is a big part of that. You cannot, in that ballpark, kick a double play ball. You cannot, in that ballpark, miss the cutoff man and allow an extra base that allows a sac fly or a home run. You cannot, in that ballpark, field a ground ball and not know where to go with it. Miss second base with your foot. Things we've seen LSU do all year. You can't. You have to play clean. Now, you can have one game where you throw up all over your shirt. Okay, the other two better be clean. That's what LSU's got to do. So we'll talk to Anthony Dasher in 45 minutes about the Georgia side of this thing. But the Tigers have to be really good this weekend to go beat the team who's got the best record in the SEC. That's something you're well aware of, but it's got to be part of the defensive thing too. So we'll continue to talk about it. Anthony Dasher coming up, as I mentioned, at 2:30 this afternoon. Take a time out, come back and close out hour one next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Let me tell you about my friends over at Auctioner. They want you to be aware of National Stroke Awareness Month, and the acronym is BFAST. B-E, balance and eyes. F-A-S-T, fast, face, arms, speech, and time. If someone in your presence is unable to maintain their balance, if their vision is affected or the eyes are drooping, if their face is drooping or it's numb, the arms are numb or weak, if the speech is slurred, if any of these symptoms happen, even if they go away, you need to call 911, get them to a hospital immediately. Strokes can happen at any age. A quarter of strokes occur with people younger than 65, and as many as 10% of stroke patients are younger than 45. Stroke affects blood vessels and neck and brain, and that's why they're called brain attacks. If anyone that's in your presence is exhibiting these symptoms, balance, eyes, face, arm, speech, time, you need to contact 911 and get them to a hospital. May is National Stroke Awareness Month. That's brought to you from our friends at Auctioner.
Transform your living space with Lacoste & Young Remodeling and take your home from outdated to outstanding. Redefine your kitchen for the ultimate culinary experience or elevate your daily routine with a spa-worthy bathroom retreat. Our skilled team brings 3D modeling to life to ensure your vision becomes a reality. We believe luxury should be accessible and offer tailored solutions to fit your budget without compromising quality. So contact us today for a free estimate. Lacoste & Young Remodeling, providing perfect solutions for your dream home.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. Look, back pain can sideline you from the things you love. That's why I trust Dr. Kevin McCarthy and the team at the Spine Center of Louisiana. Dr. McCarthy doesn't just treat symptoms. He gets to the root of the problem. From advanced injection therapy to minimally invasive surgery, they've got the expertise to get you back in the game. With 5 locations across Louisiana, including right here in Baton Rouge, quality care is close to home. Call the Spine Center of Louisiana or visit spinela.com and tell them Matt sent you.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs. Set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free confidential help now.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. And when you're cooking with clean, affordable propane, you're cooking with gas. In the wintertime, nothing heats a home like Louisiana propane. And when you need hot water, propane's got you covered. Oh, and you won't regret that propane generator when the power goes out. I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and to find more information and to find a propane dealer near you, visit louisianapropane.com.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp.
This may be one of those days you find out you got an issue with your roof, right? You've got heavy rains. If you've got leaking and you feel like there may be an issue above your head, Lifetime Roofing is the folks you need to call. Check them out online at lifetimeroofingla.com. If you think you got an issue with your roof, let Lifetime come out and do an inspection. Doesn't mean you need a new roof if you've got a leak. Maybe there's just a repair that needs to be done. Lifetime is happy to do that. If you do need a new roof, Lifetime can help you out with that. Maybe you need to finance it. They've got 0% for 18 months in terms of financing, and they can offer you a lifetime workmanship warranty on that craftsmanship and on the materials, which are backed by CertainTeed. So look, if you feel like you might have a leak, don't find that out until it starts raining. Well, it's rained plenty today. If you've got an issue, call Lifetime Roofing. Check them out online at lifetimeroofingla.com, lifetimeroofingla.com. All right, a quick exercise here to close out the hour. I gave you my thoughts yesterday on a 24-team playoff. I think it's silly. I think the law of diminishing returns hurts you. I don't care about the conference championship games, but I just think you're watering the whole thing down to an extent when you go to 24 teams. And somebody in CBS Sports, Brad Crawford, went through last season and looked at the top 24 and put together the bracket. Here's the first round where you're leaving out Indiana, leaving out Oklahoma, Texas Tech, Oregon, Ohio State, A&M, Georgia, Ole Miss. You're leaving out all the teams that were the best in the sport. And here's your first round. And I went through and did an exercise here where I gave a 1 through 10 on my personal interest in these games. 1 through 10. And I wanted to average it out and see what it is. We'll do that. First game, 17 versus 16 to face off against Indiana. Arizona against USC. 1 to 10, my interest in that is a 3. I just don't really care about Arizona, USC. USC wasn't very good. Arizona, I don't know anything about them. I don't really care. James Madison against Alabama, that's a 0. I don't need to see James Madison play football. They're not any good at football. Alabama's going to crush them. What's the point? I don't care. Tulane going to Austin to play Texas. My interest level is a 2. I don't think Tulane's any good. I think Texas would destroy them. Ole Miss beat them by 1,000 twice. I don't care about Tulane in the playoff. That's a 2 for me. Houston and BYU. That's another 2. Didn't LSU play Houston in the bowl game? Did that happen?
Yes, it did.
I didn't even remember. I don't even care. It's just Houston sucks. Don't care about BYU either. That's awful. That's a 2 for me. Michigan, Utah. That's fine. I threw a 7 on that. I'm trying not to be a complete jerk here, and I'm not trying to do a bit. That's a 7. Michigan, Utah is fine. Neither of those teams was great, but it's a fine matchup. Iowa, Miami, that's fine too. That's a 7. I gave that a 7 as well. Virginia, Vanderbilt, sorry. I don't care about Virginia. Vanderbilt had a quarterback that was kind of fun. Not really into that all that much. I gave that a 3. And Georgia Tech, Notre Dame is a fine game. Haynes King, Notre Dame, whatever. I gave that a 6. So that's 30 divided by 8. I didn't do the math, but I gave those grades. 30 divided by 8. You got an average of 3.75 here. A lot of these teams stink. James Madison stinks. Tulane stinks. Michigan, whatever. I don't think that Houston is any good. I don't care about BYU either. Vanderbilt and Virginia, you can probably pass on that. These aren't great teams. And I realize the NFL playoffs don't start with great teams. I get that. And I understand the rationale behind money. But in college football, we know what championship teams look like, and I was fully on board with going from 4 to 12. Sorry, the 16's not any good the 24's not any good for me. I love Clemson going to Texas. I love Tennessee going to Ohio State. I think it's great that Bama went to Oklahoma. That's all great. Indiana at Notre Dame, I got room for that. That's fine. Miami going to College Station, absolutely. That is good. That is riveting television. I'm not going to miss those games. But you start pulling 3-loss teams from the Big 12, whatever Houston is. They were in the Texas Bowl. They're now in the playoffs?
Yeah, and they were playing LSU.
See,
Hunt, the real issue is until there's more upsets, until you start seeing more upsets, you can't start adding more teams.
I mean, that's all. I didn't even think about that when I was doing the exercise. I saw the matchups. I wrote them down. I gave my interest level. Here, just say this out loud. The team that went to the Texas Bowl is in the playoffs.
Yeah, that's no way. No way possible.
What? We are furious when our teams are in the Texas Bowl.
Literally.
I would not have sworn under oath that LSU played Houston in the Texas Bowl. All those bowl games, all those Texas Bowls run together to me now. They're all the same.
Yeah,
John Trey Kirkland, we got Baylor, we got Kansas State, we got Houston. I don't know what is what. I'm tuned out. I do the pregame show. I did one of those pregame shows after walking over from the PMAC from the LSU Kentucky game. I think it was the Kirkland one. That game, I know the game starts at 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
The post-game show host knows the Texas Bowl starts at 8, I can promise. But the Texas Bowl out of the Big 12, you're in the playoff? James Madison? I don't think so. It's just not good. Not interested. And I promise you I'm not watching USC Arizona. I'll find a Seinfeld rewind.
You gonna put some Seinfeld on?
Yeah, I will.
Okay.
I mean, the Live at Lunch will be watching because they got action.
Oh, yeah,
I got
will
no
be.
action, so I'm out. That's where I am. Couple of good matchups. Vanderbilt, Virginia, academic decathlon, Billy Madison style. We got hour 2 coming up, LSU baseball, some LSU basketball. They got a new commitment. I'm going to tell you about that after SportsCenter.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Fabry Chevrolet GMC, FabryChevrolet.com, FabryChevrolet.com, Highway 61 in St. Francisville. Probably not a great day to walk the lot on Highway 61 in St. Francisville, so why don't you do this? Instead, just go to FabryChevrolet.com. You can search that entire inventory of new and pre-owned vehicles, no matter what you're looking for, whether it's an SUV. They've got Suburbans, Tahoes. They've got your Yukons, Denali's. Maybe it's a truck, Silverados, Sierras. Maybe you're looking for a pre-owned. They've got those as well. Just start your buying process there. We live in a click world, right? And then once you decide this kind of looks good, you see the price, you see the features, you got the photographs, the whole deal, then you can get up to St. Francisville, take that short drive, and get that wonderful customer service that you get every single time from Fabry Chevrolet GMC. The Fabry family puts their name on it. They've been here for 35 years in our community, and their reputation stands for itself. It's because they take care of their customers. So if you're looking for a new vehicle, it's a great time to get on by Fabry Chevrolet, Highway 61 in St. Francisville.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs, set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free, confidential help now.
If your office is experiencing performance issues like slow networks, jammed printers, or disappearing files, Advanced Office Systems may be right for you. With powerful IT solutions, print management, document imaging, and security systems, they help offices regain confidence naturally. Side effects may include uncontrollable efficiency, smoother workflows, and a sudden burst of office joy. Say goodbye to those emotional breakdowns in the supply closet and get back on track with Advanced Office Systems.
Who bears the standard? Who sets the bar? It's not those satisfied by low-hanging fruit or by taking it easy. Now the standard is set by the best of us, by those who work hard. Dig deeper. Give more. At Sunshine, we're proud to provide John Deere products that work hard for you, the standard bearers. Find the dealer nearest you at sunequip.com.
Raising Cane's Texas Toast is a thick slice of bread.
This
is SportsCenter.
I'm Ed Benk, and we start with NFL news. The Referees Association has ratified a new 7-year collective bargaining agreement with the league, eliminating the possibility of replacement referees being used. Meanwhile, the league announced the 2026 regular season schedule will be released on Thursday. According to Breece Hall's agent, the Jets and the running back have agreed to a new 3-year deal worth $45.75 million. NBA playoffs tonight. The Knicks visit the 76ers. Joel Embiid remains questionable. New York leads that series 2-0. Spurs and Timberwolves, that series tied at 1. The Lakers and Thunder resume their series tomorrow night with Oklahoma City holding a 2-0 lead. ESPN's Brian Windhorst says Luka Doncic isn't coming to rescue the Lakers.
He showed his cards because they obviously had never said 8 weeks before yesterday. And look, when you're talking about an injury like this, you're really never 100% sure.
That series will resume tomorrow night. Stanley Cup playoffs. The Sabres host the Canadiens. Buffalo looking to go up 2-0. Later, it's the Knights and the Ducks. That series is tied at a game apiece. In baseball, the hottest team in the majors, the Tampa Bay Rays. Tampa's won 7 in a row. They will take on the Red Sox tonight. Also tonight, the Dodgers host the Braves.
Hey, it's Michelle Smallman, and coming up Monday as the NBA playoffs roll on, I'll tell you why what happens at the draft lottery will have the biggest impact on the offseason. Plus, Canty is back from Japan. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Now, The Hunt Palmer Show.
Waiting to rise again.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show. Brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is the moment you've all been waiting for.
Locking down the middle of the day. Live from the Raising Cane studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
Hour 2, Friday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. We're brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp, coming to you from the Raising Cane studio. One more hour to go here for us. We got a lot to do in the second hour. Saints Minicamp is underway for the rookies. We'll get to that coming up in 15 minutes. Anthony Dasher will be with us from Athens. He covers the Georgia baseball team. He's here at 2:30 to preview LSU and the Dogs, so we'll get underway in about 3 hours from Foley Field. I can't start the hour right now after that SportsCenter update. I got somebody calling the Tampa Bay Rays the hottest team in baseball.
I mean,
excuse
look,
me?
I don't know what's wrong with it. This Cubs, it gets serious.
The Cubs have won 9 in a row, more than Tampa, and the Cubs have won 14 in a row at Wrigley. That's the most in the history of Wrigley. Wrigley's been around for a minute.
Very long time.
So let's just get some things straight up there in Bristol. Not Tampa. The Cubs are the hottest team in baseball.
Hey, look. The lady that usually does it, she's sick right now.
She is.
Give him some slack.
I will not. Get it right or pay the price. All right. We're going to talk LSU basketball here. Will Wade picked up another commitment. He now has officially 4 commitments in the boat, and the pieces are starting to fit together a little bit now. I want to talk about that. Before today's commitment, you had Mo Diabate, a long, rangy, hustling, rebounding, a slashing wing from Kentucky who gives you great defensive presence on the wing. You had Marcio Santos, the 6'8" Brazilian-born player from over in Europe, who's 23 and can score very well around the basket, as well as shoot the 3 in the pick-and-pop game at the 4 spot. You've got Divine Ugachukwu, nailed it, who is a 6'3" combo guard, shot it pretty well last year for Michigan State, pretty good defender, good slashing scorer, and has played 2 years of college basketball at a high level at Miami and Michigan State. So got your 6'3" guard, got a 6'8" post shooter, and you've got a defensive wing in Mo Diabate who comes in. What I told you yesterday is they still need some of these pieces. They need a point guard who's a distributor, a threat to shoot, and can run the show. They need a point guard badly, obviously. They also need a 6'10", 250-pound guy who can play physically at the rim with his back to the basket offensively and defending the post and the rim defensively. You've got to have that as well. You also need shooters. You always need shooters. Well, ask and you shall receive on point number 3 there, because LSU received a commitment today from Abdi Bashir Jr. Yes, this team's just going to be difficult to pronounce, and that's coming from a guy who has to say a different name when he orders food to go because no one can understand Hunt. Had to say my name 5 times in crowded bars in college. I got a tough name to pronounce at times or to understand at times. These are probably tougher. And so you've got Abdi Bashir, but he can shoot the basketball. And, I mean, he can shoot it really well. I hesitated yesterday to tell you that Divine Ugachukwu was a great shooter. He shot the ball well for Michigan State in 12 starts, 21 games last year, shot a really good percentage. But he was a terrible shooter at Miami the year before. That's a small sample size for Ugachukwu in terms of shooting the basketball. With Bashir, this sample size ain't small. 3 years, 2 at Monmouth, 1 at Kansas State, 84 games played, 50 games started. He has shot in his college basketball career 614 threes. Over 614 threes, he's shooting 40% from three. As a freshman, 39%. As a sophomore, when he led the conference in three-point attempts and three-point makes in the CAA, he shot 38%. Last year at Kansas State, 18 games, 18 starts, 44% from deep for Abdi Bashir Jr. This guy is a shooter at 6'7". He's from Omaha, and he can fill it up. I watched the highlight tape, and something I like about him, he's obviously got great length at 6'7". When he shoots the three, one, he'll shoot it from the parking lot. The range is legit NBA. He will pull up from a long way away, and he shoots a beautiful high-arcing three. Even when he shoots a 12-foot jumper, it's way up there. It's soft, and he splashes it. This is a legit shooter and floor spacer for Will Wade. The points per game might be a little bit deceiving. He averaged 20.1 points per game at Monmouth, but he's not necessarily a great scorer because when you look at that year at Monmouth, he shot 589 shots, which is a lot. He made, in 332 of them, well over 50% were from the three-point line. So he is a three-point shooter by trade. He will put it on the floor, as just about anyone will do. I know there was a guy in the tournament this year that played against Wisconsin that made his first 2 of the year. Bashir is not that, but he's a three-point shooter. And what I really like about this is that Bashir is going to be on one of the wings. He is a dead-eye shooter. And Marcio Santos, the 6'8" European forward they got, well, he's Brazilian, but he was in Europe playing in Tel Aviv. He is an elite pick-and-pop shooter as well. So you've got 2 guys who are not primary ball handlers who are really good three-point shooters. And that means the floor's open because you can't leave Bashir open. I watched the highlight tapes. The numbers are screaming off the page at me. You cannot help off him very much. And you have to go out and guard him at 35 feet because there is a lot on this highlight tape at Kansas State in the Big 12 of him shooting the ball from way deep. Now, that's not always a great shot, but the threat dictates what the defense has to do, right? So, as I said to start this segment, it's what I said in my news piece at LouisianaSports.net. These pieces are starting to fit. You've got a guy in Ugachukwu who can create shots and shoot a little bit, we think, and slash. You've got Diabate, who's a hustler and a defender. And then you've got 2 guys now that are not short, that are not undersized, that can really shoot. You're still missing some pieces, obviously, and Will Wade's told you he has 7 or 8 guys, and we only have 4 confirmed. I feel okay about Saliu Nuang. Everyone is talking about him, but I'm not going to count him in the class yet, and he may be the biggest game changer of them all if and when that does come to pass. He is a scorer on all 3 levels. But you've got some really key pieces that fit some traits that you just have to win. Matt McMahon's teams fought offensively for 3 years because they could not shoot from 3. And you just become easier to defend when you cannot shoot from 3. You guys don't have to stretch out on the perimeter. You can sag in. You cut off drives. You don't have to rush to help and get out of rotation. There's just so much that you're able to do defensively when you don't have to worry about shooters. And I can't tell you if Bashir's going to start. I can't tell you if Santos is going to start. I do a portal profile, which some of these aren't portal guys. Bashir is. I do a portal profile on LouisianaSports.net. And I'd give you the fit in that writing that I do. And it's hard to do on a basketball team with no players because I don't know if these are the only 2 shooters LSU's got that are going to have to be out there. I don't know who the point guard is and whether or not you've got other scorers or whether or not you're going to have to see, Bashir develop into a 3-level scorer instead of a 1-level scorer, which is kind of what he is right now. But if you do add a point guard who can really distribute, someone in Deion Thomas's mold, someone in Tremont Waters' mold, if you do add that, all of a sudden these guys become huge weapons spacing the floor. And you do have to add a big that's got some size to him. You need someone who looks like, and in a lot of respects, plays like Mike Nwoku. That's just a piece you have to have. But you also have to have shooters, and LSU has got two guys that can really fill it up. As I mentioned yesterday with Ugachukwu, I'm not going to give you a high shooting grade for him. It's possible, but that's a small sample size from 20 games at Michigan State. This is 50 starts over 84 games. This guy's a 40% three-point shooter. That's a bucket, and that's what LSU really, really, really needs. Kansas State did not have a great year, and they're struggling. Jerome Tang fell. I mean, he had such a great start there as the coach, and just kind of fell apart over 2 years. And he did not like this team. He talked about this team publicly, like these guys aren't going to be here next year. And I don't know what that means for Bashir in the locker room or how much that mattered. And this is going to be a locker room that Will Wade's going to have to blend together from a lot of different backgrounds and a lot of different cultures and a lot of different experiences that these guys are bringing in. But they do fit from a basketball perspective some roles you've got to have. And so I was excited to turn on. I was excited when I saw the stat sheet for Bashir. I turned on the highlight tape and went, yeah, that's one you've got to have. He's tall. You've got to put someone with some length on him, which means you may have to take length off somebody who can really dribble in attack, which is a good thing. And if you close out low on him, he'll get that shot off. It's a high arcer, and he can splash it with the best of them. One of the best shooters in college basketball is Abdi Bashir. I'll get there. I got them all written down here, but it's quite a list. And Chris Blair, you know what I feel worse for than Chris Blair on this?
Who?
Chris will get this. I've knocked Ugachukwu out of the park like 8 times in this segment, and it's only my second day.
Yeah.
What about when LSU goes to Mississippi State in that first SEC game or whoever they play, and the Mississippi State announcer is going to look at this LSU roster and go,
he's like, God bless.
I don't know who any of these guys are, and I got to pronounce all these names. Now, Chris will have it knocked out by game 3. I'm confident he'll have it licked. When you only get one shot at this team, my goodness, it's a lot of vowels going. It's a lot of vowels.
Better fire up the YouTube.
I'm not too concerned with the pronunciations as I am with them winning basketball games. Will Wade seems to think they're going to be pretty good, and it stands to reason they might be pretty good because they got some good pieces to this puzzle to this point. I'll have a portal profile up on Ugachukwu tomorrow on LouisianaSports.net in the morning, and probably on Bashir on Mother's Day Sunday morning as well. So that's a look at LSU hoops. We got to talk some LSU baseball with Anthony Dasher, who covers Georgia, coming up in 15 minutes. I have been scouring the internet for content on Saints Minicamp. We'll talk about rookie minicamp when we come back.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Swing Easy Golf Club in Baton Rouge. Man, what a day to get by Swing Easy. It's Friday. You're knocking off of work. You want to play golf. You can't. It's soaking wet out there. There's not one golf course in town, I bet, you can play golf at today. But you can play at Swing Easy. Go by and see him. Segan at Perkins. And get in one of those private bays. I had a couple golf shots back on Wednesday. It's great. You can drink some cold beers. They got them right there in the fridge, right when you walk in the door. They got seltzers in there as well, glass of wine if you want. Bring crew over there or go by yourself. Turn on Pebble Beach. Turn it on at that place they give out the jacket. They got that as well. And maybe tomorrow morning, you've been looking forward to a tee time all week, but the course is closed, too wet. You can go to Swing Easy. They're open at night as well. So once it gets dark, Friday night at Swing Easy. You can get that done, compete with your friends, work on your game with a driving range feature. This is the perfect day, perfect weekend to get on by Swing Easy Golf Club. We've also got a cool thing coming next week with Swing Easy where we're going to qualify you to compete in their league. It's a scramble league, 2-on-2, that they're going to have coming up this spring into the summer, and we can get you qualified for that next week. So be on the lookout for that. It's Swing Easy Golf Club on Segan at Perkins. Online, swingeasygcbr.com.
Parrish Construction and Roofing. Trusted by champions, built for Louisiana.
Do business with someone you know. Parrish Construction and Roofing.
Parrish Construction and Roofing. ParrishBuilt.com.
Every ounce of Raising Cane's lemonade has been hand-squeezed that day from fresh lemons before being served over our signature crushed ice. Because when you make it right, you can taste it in every bite. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. One love.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. Look, back pain can sideline you from the things you love. That's why I trust Dr. Kevin McCarthy and the team at the Spine Center of Louisiana. Dr. McCarthy doesn't just treat symptoms. He gets to the root of the problem. From advanced injection therapy to minimally invasive surgery, they've got the expertise to get you back in the game. With 5 locations across Louisiana, including right here in Baton Rouge, quality care is close to home. Call the Spine Center of Louisiana or visit spinela.com and tell them Matt sent you.
As a business owner, you're always focused on how you can improve the bottom line. Well, when was the last time you shopped your insurance coverage? Insurance Network of Louisiana can help. If you're a business owner, let my friends at Insurance Network of Louisiana see if they can find you better coverage for less money. They always offer exceptional customer service and partner with only the best providers. So check them out online today at lainsurance.net.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
I'm Gabrielle McLeod on behalf of the Louisiana Propane Dealers. I have spent hundreds of hours preparing for scholarship competitions. That preparation paid off when I won the Fitness and Talent Awards along with the title of Miss Louisiana. The Louisiana Propane Dealers are also pretty talented and want you to be prepared for when the power goes out. Visit louisianapropane.com to find out about propane generators and other safety tips. Louisiana Propane, it truly is the fuel for our future.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp.
It also might be a great weekend. I told you about Swing Easy Golf Club there prior to the break, but what about getting some swings in this weekend while it's pouring down rain? What about getting some work in off the mound while it's pouring down rain? Well, you probably can't do that out at the field, but you can at Marucci. You've got a youth baseball player, youth softball player that wants to get some work in over the weekend but can't with the weather the way it is. Marucci's got 24/7 cage access if you become a member. Want to get some hacks in? You can do it at Marucci. Want to get some pitching in? You can do it at Marucci. Want to get some infield work done? You can do it at Marucci as long as you're a member. Get that key card access. You can do it when it's dark outside, as it's raining, before school. Always a great option for the youth player that's trying to get better but is beholden to the weather and daylight. Not at Marucci. You can also take a tour. Check out where the official bat of Major League Baseball is made. 1,200 of them every single day are cut, stained, shipped off to the best players in the world. Take a tour and learn about how awesome that process is over at Marucci. MarucciSports.com/campus-tour is where you can get that ticket. And every single ticket comes with a 20% discount in the Campus Tour store and in the Hitter's House. That's from our friends over at Marucci. All right, as I mentioned at the top of the show, this is not going to be the most smooth sailing of segments with the Saints. Their minicamp is just at an awkward time for my particular show. They're on the field early. They're in the locker room and press conferences late, so I'm not able to get the beat writers in, not able to get any real context for what was going on firsthand because I'm here. But we can monitor social media and learn some things that were going on out at Rookie Minicamp in the first day. And our guy Ross Jackson was out there today and has some reports up on Twitter. He'll certainly have reaction to the day where they were able to observe some of the workout as well as Kellen Moore's press conference up at LouisianaSports.net for free later this afternoon. The one absence today was Kristen Miller. Kristen Miller, the pick from Georgia, the Saints took there to play on the interior defensive front in the second round. He was unavailable today. It was an injury. Doesn't seem to be anything significant at all. Everything that I talk about in Rookie Minicamp has to immediately come attached with the lowest level of importance. Like this is the most insignificant thing I believe the Saints do all year's rookie minicamp. Getting guys fitted for helmets, getting them out there moving around a little bit, showing them a little bit of the system, seeing how healthy some guys are. Like, this is below OTAs, certainly below training camp, below the draft, below all that stuff. This is an acclimation to professional football. And, like, I'm not going to overreact to anything really that goes on out there unless somebody goes off on a cart, okay? So Christian Miller did not go off on a cart. He just wasn't there participating. Kellen Moore said it was an injury, but they're not too concerned about that. Ross also mentioned Lorenzo Styles was more involved than he expected. Of course, Styles had that labrum surgery. Didn't do a lot, but he did line up for some gunner drills and some low-intensity stuff on special teams. Styles would be a great candidate for that. He's got elite speed, not a guy that figures to play every down on defense, and not a guy that will get gassed covering punts and not be able to help you where he's supposed to on that side of the ball. So it's a good thing that they're looking at him in that perspective, and it's a good thing that he's out there recovering from a labrum surgery. So Styles was out there. That's very, very good. Ross saw Bryce Lance drop a pass. That's bad. You don't want drop passes. But immediately, Bryce Lance hit the deck and did some push-ups. Ross goes to a lot of Saints practices and does not know if that was mandatory. Just may have been an accountability thing. And a lot of the Saints beat reporters that I've talked to mentioned about Bryce Lance is he talked about the championship standard that the Saints are striving for in this new era, and that he wants to be a part of that. And obviously, he comes from that. It's at a lower level, but you play at North Dakota State, you're expected to win. And so there's a standard there, standard in New Orleans that they're trying to uphold, and you hit the deck after a drop, that's some accountability in rookie minicamp. Ross liked the pace today. It showed a little tempo. They did a little full-speed action on 7-on-7 with no contact as well. That was kind of the nuts and bolts from today at Saints rookie minicamp. I'm curious to see the returns on Jordan Tyson, what he's able to do. Obviously, from the first day, like, for example, when the Saints reporters go out for the first day of training camp, you're moving around pretty good. It's time to get ready to go play a game. Same thing when we go out and cover LSU fall camp. That first day, you're moving around. Like, you're going. This, for the Saints, is going to be at a slower pace. So as things ramp up over the course of time, Tyson's going to be asked to do more. And I just want to see how he's moving around. The most recent thing we've seen from him on field are the hamstring issues. You've got the video from the workout with the explosiveness, and you've got him jumping up and making catches, and you've got him being the twitchy freak athlete that he is. You can't see that today. They're walking through. They're doing a lot of stuff that's non-contact and non-full speed, but they will get into some stuff, especially when it's one-on-zero, one-on-ones, that will have some more pace to them. You just want to see Jordan Tyson go out there and do his thing. And candidly, he's the most talented player out there. He's the first-round pick of the rookie class. Everybody else is down the line from draft picks or guys fighting for their NFL lives on a rookie minicamp invitation. The Kyle Trasks of the world, okay? He's the most talented guy out there. He needs to show that when that time comes. The time hasn't come. Today's not that time. But when that time comes, he needs to show he's the most talented guy out there. You want to see Christian Miller progress. You would like to see him do a little bit more, but this is not going to be full pads, not going to be, anything wild and crazy. You're going to see some guys you want to pick up on attendance, you want to pick up on health, and that's what you're looking for. I think the most impactful things that will come out of rookie minicamp will be the interview sessions with Kellen Moore and with the players, and that's not something we have access to yet. They've just gotten off the field about 45 minutes ago. So we'll be reading about it at LouisianaSports.net. We'll be able to give you some sound from that, and we'll be able to give you some reaction. And I reached out to multiple Saints reporters, but they're working right now in the locker room, so they're going to get some interviews, and all that'll be up over your Twitter feeds, and certainly up at LouisianaSports.net. We'll continue to monitor it. Did get word today that the schedule release is coming up next Thursday, so as we mentioned, they'll never get out of the news cycle. They're always in it, and next Thursday we'll get the Saints schedule, and we'll certainly react to that. Anything specifically, Jordan, you're looking at in a little rookie mini camp action? It's, as I mentioned, it's the lowest thing on the totem pole.
It's the lowest thing on the totem pole, but that Ross tweet about Bryce Lance hitting the deck and hitting those push-ups, that does move me a little bit. It moves me a little bit. I know it's mini camp, and let me see you do that, week 7 after you played a couple games and you're still doing that. I get it, First day on the job, you want to make a good impression, you're hitting the deck after dropping the ball. But if that's his mentality and that's the mentality he's coming in, into this system with, into the season with, that's a good sign, because you're going to need one of these guys out of we know what Tyson's going to do outside of him and Olave, but your Bryce Lance, Barrion Brown, one of these guys are going to have to step up and take that next jump for this offense to really, go to that next level that everybody is assuming that the Saints are going to take. So I do like that about Bryce Lance, but let's revisit that week 10 if you're still hitting the deck.
Let's put your Jimmy Ott hat on.
Okay.
I'm going to give you a crisp $10 bill.
$10.
Bryce Lance.
Bryce Lance.
Over under catches this season in the season 15.
Oh, over.
Over?
Over, yeah. Oh, I mean, if he doesn't hit over 10 catches, we're in trouble because he's a third-round pick.
If Vele is...
Vele, but it's just because of his skill set is more of like the deep threat type of guy. Now, I'm not expecting him to just be deep balls all the time, but I'm expecting at least be in the mix. I'll say that, in the mix.
We'll see. They brought in a lot of different guys. They got a lot of different options.
Yeah, somebody
to make something happen. Somebody's got to, as you mentioned, somebody's got to step up there. So that's a look at Saints minicamp. Ross Jackson's all over it. Follow him on Twitter at RossJacksonNola, and certainly read him at LouisianaSports.net. All right, chugging along here on a Friday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show. We're brought to you by Corks, Cajun Fried Fish and Shrimp. LSU and Georgia coming at you from Foley Field. 2.5 hours from right now, 5 o'clock first pitch Central Time from Georgia. We'll talk about that matchup with Anthony Dasher. He covers the Georgia Bulldogs. He's in Athens. We'll do that when we come back.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Love telling you about the Highland Insurance Group, HighlandIG.com, HighlandIG.com. If you're a business owner or you're in HR in charge of the benefits at your business and it's just been a struggle for you, the Highland Insurance Group is here to help. They understand that there's one certain carrier here in South Louisiana that's been running those rates up and up and up, and you may have gotten an increase, a significant one, the last 2 or 3 renewals. If that's happened or there's another renewal coming up and you'd like a second set of eyeballs, the Howland Insurance Group can help you out with that. They've got contracts with multiple carriers, and they may be able to shop for the best price for you and make sure that your employees are taken care of. Obviously, employee benefits like healthcare, dental, vision, those are vital in attracting talent to your organization and maintaining that talent. If you're not able to do that, or you're just being hamstrung, your budget's being hamstrung by the consistent increases in your premiums, let the Howland Insurance Group take a look. They want to help. They obviously can help with property and casualty. I tell you about that just about every day. They can help with group and employee benefits as well. So if you're a business owner, if you're in HR, or you're in charge, the CFO, of dealing with the benefits for your business, the Highland Insurance Group is online at HighlandIG.com, and they are here to help. Contact Jonathan Carbo and his team. They're here in Baton Rouge, can help you out statewide. It's the Highland Insurance Group, HighlandIG.com.
When it comes to industrial construction, River Parish Contractors can do it all. Mechanical, structural, custom fabrication, specialized welding, and turnaround services. Strategically located in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, we have the local team with the experience and commitment to safety to manage the most complex industrial projects. Period. Here's the deal. Partnering with us means your project is delivered on time, on budget, and most important, safely. River Parish Contractors, let's get building.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. Look, back pain can sideline you from the things you love. That's why I trust Dr. Kevin McCarthy and the team at the Spine Center of Louisiana. Dr. McCarthy doesn't just treat symptoms. He gets to the root of the problem. From advanced injection therapy to minimally invasive surgery, they've got the expertise to get you back in the game. With 5 locations across Louisiana, including right here in Baton Rouge, quality care is close to home. Call the Spine Center of Louisiana or visit spinela.com and tell them Matt sent you.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here, we eat out here, we watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient, and you will have your pool in no time.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs. Set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free confidential.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Corks, Cajun Fried Fish and Shrimp.
Chugging along here, Friday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Corks, Cajun Fried Fish and Shrimp. Check out the menu, corksfishandshrimp.com, corksfishandshrimp.com. One team fighting for its NCAA tournament life, one team fighting for an SEC title, and has the top 8 seed all but locked up. It's LSU in Georgia from Foley Field in Athens over the weekend, starting up in about 2.5 hours. Anthony Dasher covers Georgia for Rivals and On 3, joins us now on the Jim's Firearms Hotline. Anthony, thanks for the time. How are you?
Doing great. Appreciate your time.
It's our pleasure. Let's see about this Georgia team, and we'll start with the starter tonight on the mound with Joey Volchko, transferred in from Stanford. How would you characterize his season thus far?
It's been, I guess, pretty good. The big thing with Joey is sometimes, and we've seen several instances this year in first innings, he comes out pretty amped up. I mean, he's a pretty fiery guy, and sometimes it takes an inning or two to calm down. And we've seen some instances, mostly on the road, where his control, can be affected a little bit. At home, he's been a little bit of a different pitcher, but usually once he gets to the first, second inning, he can pretty much settles down and pretty much count him for five or 6 innings. So that's going to be something to look for today to see if he is wild, if LSU can take advantage of him early on.
Georgia has not lost a start by Dylan Vignew to this point. He's scheduled to get the ball tomorrow. What can you tell us about him this year?
Yeah, well, Dylan is coming off some arm crapness about 3 weeks ago, and he said he's 100%. We'll see. He didn't pitch a ton. I think he was limited to 60 pitches this past weekend. But he's a guy who just puts tremendous spin on the ball. I mean, his spin rate is by far the best on the team right now. What the job Wes Johnson has done with him has really been tremendous. And when he's on, he's tough to handle. But kind of like Volchko, walks have hurt him from time to time, and that's something he needs to keep under control.
I got a pretty good handle on those two because we've seen them a lot over the course of the year. How would you characterize Georgia's depth beyond them, especially in the bullpen?
It's deeper than what's been the past 2 years. That said, you're talking, your quote-unquote weekend pitchers, they probably don't go a good, 7, 8, deep. Now, Sunday starters, it's going to be a TBA. Now, they hope it's going to be Caden Aoki. Just depends on what happens these first 2 ball games. Because if it's a case where Georgia's ahead, West will not hesitate to put Caden in to try to lock games down. But other than that, Matt Scott, who came over with Bosco from Stanford, has been very effective. Justin Bird's a guy who knows how to miss bats. He also knows how to give up home runs. He's given up 12 homers, but his strikeout to walk ratio is again one of the best on the team right now. And Paul Farley's another guy who's had some middling success coming out of the pen. Get beyond that, it's can be a little bit shaky at times for Georgia. And sometimes West has really had to piece things together, like we saw that Game 3 with Ole Miss when they were really struggling to try to find some arms to step up, but they did manage to get it done.
Georgia's got 18 league wins already. There are 2 weekends to go. Obviously, an SEC championship is a nice thing to do, but Wes Johnson's trying to get to Omaha for the first time as Georgia's head coach. So how would you suggest the sense of urgency is this weekend? Obviously, LSU's on a 10 out of 10. They've got to win 4 of their last 6 against 2 really good teams. Does Georgia still have a ton of sense of urgency this weekend?
Wes will tell you they don't, but I'm not sure if that's truly the case. They have been really, really good about the old cliche, taking it one game at a time. And I've asked him several times over the past few weeks if they've even brought up the SEC title, and every time he swears no, we have not even mentioned it. Once. And that's not to say that's not a goal. That wasn't a goal before the season, but it's really not something this team is really harping on right now. They just want to finish strong, play as good baseball as they possibly can, and then after that, kind of see where they stand.
Offensively, a lot of home runs, more than anybody in college baseball. What is that makes Georgia good beyond the long ball?
In the past 2 or 3 weeks, they've done a much better job of not just being one of these, rip and grip teams. I mean, you're seeing a little more hit and run. You're seeing them hit behind runners. You're seeing hitters go to the opposite field, up the middle, where it's not just every pitch they're trying to yank it the other direction. So that's stuff they really improved, and it's something they're going to need to, keep doing well, I think, as they move forward, because as you've seen, you get into regionals, NCAA tournament, you're going to run into good pitchers, and if you're playing some of these bigger ballparks, sometimes the home runs won't play. So that's something they're trying to maybe, not get away from home runs, because that's still a very big part of their game, but they want to be a more balanced offense. And over the past 2 or 3 weeks, they've done a better job of that.
Is there a weakness on this team? Doesn't appear that way, the way that they've played thus far, but there's something for you?
Yeah, well, like I said, once you get past the first 6 or 7 pitchers, it's been kind of shaky. I mean, there's some ugly ERAs in that Bulldog bullpen, right now, and so that's the thing is if LSU can have success getting some of these starting pitchers out earlier, that's going to definitely, as it always does, obviously play into their hands, but especially against this Georgia team, which has some, like I said, some very ugly ERAs. Once you get about the number 8 guy on the staff.
Anthony Dasher is our guest, covers Georgia for the On3 Rivals Network. Tigers and Bulldogs 3-game set from Foley Field coming up this weekend, starting at 5 o'clock Central Time tonight. What kind of environment do you expect this weekend in Athens?
I think it'd be rocking. I mean, Georgia's is sold out. All their home conference games have been complete sellouts, and it's just pretty raucous. Now, it's not going to be what you see at Mississippi State or Ole Miss or in the box or anything like that. But it's still a very lively crowd. The folks get into the game, but it's not, I guess, as quote unquote unfriendly environment maybe you see some other places.
And then last thing, what do you believe this is an Omaha team that Georgia's got?
I think they've got a good chance, probably a better chance they had the last 2 years, last 2 seasons. And I've talked about it on our board a lot. I think even with some of the pitching questions, I think they're still deeper than they have been the previous 2 years. If Georgia can get itself in the position where they only have to like in a region, just play 3 games or something of that nature, and I think they'll have a better chance. But I do like their chances better just from an overall standpoint. I have the previous 2 years. I just think just offensively, like I said, I don't see this team as being as reliant on the home runs. Again, even though they lead the country right now, it's a versatile lineup, a deep lineup. They can do a lot of things.
Anthony, we really appreciate some time. Enjoy the baseball over the weekend.
Thanks. Appreciate it. That's
Anthony Dasher, covers Georgia for UGAsports.com on Rivals and on 3. And it's an interesting thing, and there's not a ton of momentum in baseball. It's probably made up a little bit. We've certainly seen LSU teams get hot. There are teams that you can immediately think of. The 08 team that was kind of left for dead, Maneri's second team, and they rattled off 23 in a row, just went on that ridiculous run late in the season through Hoover and didn't lose until the Super against Irvine, and actually won that in games 2 and 3 to close out the box. But that team went nuts late. Of course, the Rally Possum team in 2016 got hot really late. You saw Jay Johnson's first team here that just blasted Vanderbilt in the last weekend and really was playing great into Hattiesburg Regional and had those 2 great comebacks. This team might be getting hot. Kade Arambidi said earlier they're getting hot. They might be playing their best baseball. They might have just played a South Carolina team that can't hit at all. If you told me tonight, 5 o'clock first pitch, that Schmidt goes out there and gives you 5 one-run innings with 7 strikeouts, and that LSU hit 3 home runs and they beat Georgia 9-4, I would believe that. If you told me that Georgia hits 5 home runs tonight and LSU makes 2 errors and LSU gets 10 run because South Carolina's terrible and we got tricked, I would buy that. I would. I believe that Mason Braun and Omar Cerna and Kade Arambidi are way better today than they were when LSU went to Nashville. I believe they're way better. You don't have Brown. You don't have Evans. You don't have Stanfield. But I think you've got a couple of guys who are way better. I think Milam is hot, and I don't have to worry about whether or not that's competition dependent. I've seen him in the biggest stage in the sport be great, and I think he's swinging the bat awesome. So I do believe they're playing a little bit better. I think South Carolina is terrible. I think they're terrible. Offensively, just weak at bats, weak contact, no power, no pop, and I think LSU is better than South Carolina. But I don't know if LSU would have been better than South Carolina on March 20th because LSU was just not playing very well. And I think they're playing better. But this is a different beast. You're playing a team that is in the top 3 in the SEC in fielding percentage, that has a first-round pick going tonight, has a monster spin rate guy going on Saturday, has a couple of really good bullpen bullets, and hits more home runs than anybody in college baseball, and plays in a Little League park to do it. Now, hopefully, LSU, as they did in a Little League park in Knoxville, hits a bunch of home runs. They did that in Knoxville. Huge grand slam from Curiel. Aaron Beatty hit 4 in one game. Milam left the yard. Dardar hit a couple homers, and he's back this weekend, which is good. But you got to do it, and it's a pitching staff that's been tough to do that off of at the top. Volchko has not been tagged for a lot of home runs, and Vague has only given up 1 in his SEC outings. Now, if those guys lose the strike zone, which they have at times, you may be onto something. You got to make them pay for that. But I don't know what to expect tonight. I really don't. There are times where I know what to expect from LSU. Kate Anderson's getting the ball on the Friday. I know what to expect. Paul Skeen's getting it on Friday. I know what to expect. I got a lineup that looks like the 25 team or the 23 team. I know what to expect. Even that team in 24 that had Cruz, not Cruz, had the 22 is what I'm talking about. Jay's first team that had Cruz and Morgan and Thompson and Doty and like that team, Dugas, like that team could hit. And I kind of knew they were going to hit. I had no idea what you were going to get from the mound. It was Mikhail Hilliard, Paul Gervais, Razelman, and Riley Cooper, and like whatever else. Jacob Berry's on that team offensively too. And I kind of knew what to expect offensively from that team. This one, I'm just not sure. I'm not sure. There's a part of me that wants to believe they're playing better. Georgia doesn't have quite the sense of urgency. They're going to hit some home runs. They'll get some quality relief pitching. Sheeran will be good, and they'll get 2. There's part of me that wants to believe that. And there's part of me that sat in the box on Sunday with Myers. He was playing. I was watching the game. And went, this South Carolina team is awful. They can't hit. I was so unafraid of them going out there and getting a hit off Cowan. Just unafraid. And that's just not the case with this Georgia lineup. They got 5 guys with 13-plus homers. They got 5 guys hitting 300 or better in the league, which doesn't happen a lot. They got real dudes in that lineup, and it's a bandbox. So you're probably going to have to win some slugfest. Now, as I told you all in the first hour, Florida went in there and held Georgia without a home run on the whole weekend. But Aiden King's got as good a metrics as Paul Skeens in SEC play, and Liam Peterson's going to be a top 35, 40 pick. So that's not where LSU is. But hey, if you go in there this weekend and Schmidt's good and Paz is good and Sheeran's good and Cowan's good and Braun is good and Cerna's good and Aaron Beatty's good and Milam's good and you win 2 games, you will come out of this thing on Monday going, all right, come on, Gators. What you got? Like this whole town will be inspired if they can go out there and win this weekend. But if South Carolina's really that bad and LSU's really that hurt and LSU's pitching is the worst ERA and their fielding is the worst, and they go out there and get their butts kicked like they did in Oxford, like they did in Starkville, like they did against A&M, teams that are better than them, well, we'll have our answer, and you'll know on Monday. You win 1 game this weekend, and you feel like you're back against the wall, but you're still alive. And as I mentioned in hour number 1, about an hour and 15 minutes ago, it's incumbent upon Jay Johnson this weekend to manage this thing exactly right. When you have a chance to win in the middle innings, you got to deploy the big guns. If you are behind, you have to hold them on Friday. And that could mean tonight gets out of hand because you might have to go from Schmidt to some of the guys who haven't been great. You might have to go to Rizzi. You might have to go to Dax Stothy. You might have to go to Primo. Like, I don't even know if he's around anymore. Like, you can't go to your best bullpen guys if you're getting beat. You can go to Theophilus if you feel good about that. You can go to Reagan Ricken, but like you can't. The only way you can go to Cowan, Sheeran, Garcia, and those guys for Fontenot is if you have a lead. It means the offense has got to figure it out. Draw some walks, hit a couple out of the yard. We'll see. LSU and Georgia, 5 o'clock Central Time tonight, 4:30 Eagle 98.1. You can find Chris Blair and Bill Franquez on the call from Foley Field. Let's hope. I'm optimistic. We'll see. Come out and close it out next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
First American Bank and Trust, FABT.com, FABT.com, First American Bank and Trust. Been doing business in Southeast Louisiana since 1910. I don't know what else is going on in 1910. It was a long time ago. It was 116 years ago, and First American Bank and Trust started up. They have grown from that point to 25 locations throughout Southeast Louisiana. St. Tammany, they're there. Tangipahoa, they're there. St. James, St. John, Lafourche, Terrebonne, they're there. Jones Creek, Dutchtown, they're there. Metairie, they're there. 25 locations. That means they've got the capabilities as national banks, but it's all done with a hometown feel, and the decisions that are made by First American Bank and Trust on your commercial loan, on your personal loan, are made in Southeast Louisiana. That's important. It's First American Bank and Trust. Stop in a location today. Check them out online at FABT.com. First American Bank and Trust.
At Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer, we know hard work starts with the right equipment. Right now, take advantage of the powerful 3025E tractor with loader for just $297 a month, with 0% financing for 72 months. Whether you're tackling land, property, or projects, this is the tractor built to get it done. Don't wait. This offer ends April 30th, 2026. Visit sunequip.com or stop by a Sunshine location today.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. And when you're cooking with clean, affordable propane, you're cooking with gas. In the wintertime, nothing heats a home like Louisiana propane. And when you need hot water, propane's got you covered. Oh, and you won't regret that propane generator when the power goes out. I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and to find more information and to find a propane dealer near you, visit louisianapropane.com.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs, set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free, confidential help now.
If your office is experiencing performance issues like slow networks, jammed printers, or disappearing files, Advanced Office Systems may be right for you. With powerful IT solutions, print management, document imaging, and security systems, they help offices regain confidence naturally. Side effects may include uncontrollable efficiency, smoother workflows, and a sudden burst of office joy. Say goodbye to those emotional breakdowns in the supply closet and get back on track with Advanced Office Systems.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Quirks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp.
Failure happens to us all, but it's how champions evolve.
I want to send a big happy Mother's Day out to all the moms out there that are listening to us. Hope you have an awesome and safe, fun weekend with those closest to you. Should be a wet weekend over the weekend, but that doesn't mean you can't spend some quality time. Looking forward to our time with the moms in our life over at the Palmer House there Saturday and Sunday of this weekend. So happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. We got one order of business left. Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Today's hottest stories in sports, news, and sometimes even Hunt's life. The question is, will he take them or leave them?
All right, so Darren Peterson spent much of his freshman season at Kansas trying to solve this little mysterious debilitating cramping issue. But in an extended interview with ESPN this week, Peterson said that a new round of blood work and other tests showed that the high doses of creatine that they were using at Kansas was creating this condition where his body was locking up into full body cramps. So are you back in on Darren Peterson now that you know he wasn't asking out of games just to do it? Take it or leave it.
Leave it. I don't know. That's what happened. It sounds like a convenient excuse. I didn't see any full body cramps. I saw a guy that was getting about 12 points in the first half and sitting out the second.
Yeah, no, the one where he waved at the coach or whatever. Yeah, I still remember that one. That was nasty.
Full body cramps. I mean, look, this is a likely story. He's trying to protect his investment. That's part of the deal in college sports. We know that we're a stepping stone level here at college, but that's I'm not buying that fully. I'm not suggesting he completely fabricated the entirety of everything. I'm suggesting that he didn't exactly work really hard to fight through that.
All right, so Skip Bayless returned to First Take for the first time in a decade in all his trolling glory. So is Hunt back in on First Take now that Skip is back? Take it or leave it.
I'm going to leave it. I saw a couple clips on social media. They were playing all the hits. They were debating LeBron's legacy. I would rather jam an ice pick into my eye than listen to Skip Bayless and Stephen A. Smith debate LeBron James' legacy.
Yeah, in 2026.
And then they're debating the Cowboys against the Knicks.
Yeah.
My team's cursed. Your team stinks. It just get off my television. Wouldn't watch it for $10. Just no shot. Not watching.
All right, so Hunt's homemade jambalaya. Take it or leave it.
We're going to give it a shot, okay? We feel good about the gumbo. We've been doing gumbo for about 10 years now. I do a good gumbo. I enjoy it. I've never tried jambalaya. I am a bad cook. I enjoy cooking. I'm not good at it. We're going for jambalaya tomorrow.
Okay.
We'll see how it goes. My optimism level is reasonably high. It looks pretty easy. It's pretty similar to gumbo in some ways.
Yeah.
But I've never done it. I love jambalaya. If it's bad, I will know. But I love it. I want to make it well. It's going to be the first trial run. My optimism on scale of 1 to 10, 6.
I'll take that as a.
I'll take it. We'll fully give the review on Monday's show.
Well, hold on. How's that going to work that you're reviewing your own food?
Well, other people are going to eat it too, but I'm going to be a harsh.
Okay.
If it stinks, it stinks.
Okay.
Like my last gumbo, we talked about it.
Yeah,
It was atrocious. I'll know if it's awful.
Okay.
If it's for some reason the last gumbo I did, and I don't need all the cooks coming out of the woodworks. I know I suck at cooking, but I've cooked 50 gumbos in my life. Great. This one, it was clumpy, the roux, and it just didn't
Lord,
work.
no, we ain't doing that.
It was bad.
Yeah, we ain't doing that.
And that was the last one of the season. We're not going to make another one until November or December. So you got to stew on this poor performance for an entire offseason.
So when I hear that just means that there is so much riding on the jambalaya Saturday.
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on. This is like your game 7 right now.
On Sunday for Mother's Day, I'm making lemon chicken meatballs, Boursin lemon chicken meatballs, and they're easy and they're awesome. That's a slam dunk easy one.
Chef Palmer over here?
Yeah, it's me. I'm a great chef.
I'm about to say
I
Chef
like to
Palmer?
cook. Podcasts, cold beers. I like cooking. I'm just not any good at it.
Hey, well, look, time will tell. Time will tell. So James Harden played his 182 career playoff game last night with 4 turnovers and 3 made field goals. It was his 46th playoff game that he had more turnovers than field goals made. That's over 25% of his career playoff games. Is James Harden a one-of-one playoff dropper? Take it or leave it.
I'll leave it. I mean, he's probably decent.
No.
Not right now.
Okay.
He was decent when he was in his prime. I'm going to be honest. Let's just put the cards on the table. There is a lot more Peppa Pig on in my house in NBA playoffs.
Okay.
There's a lot more Spidey on in my house in NBA playoffs. I control very little of the TV, and when I do control it, we're watching the Cubs, we're watching LSU.
Cubs
One's
hot.
for work, the Cubs are rolling. I don't have a lot of time for James Harden right now.
You ain't missing nothing.
So I'm not seeing what's going on out there, but I feel like he's probably over the hill.
Oh, yeah. It's It's real bad right now.
Is he still shooting step-back threes and kicking his foot out and getting 4-point plays?
Hunt, he can't even shoot a step-back three. They're clamping him up so bad. I mean, we're talking the Detroit Pistons. You know, they're young, and they're just throwing him on the ground. They're throwing him on the ground. Cade Cunningham was tearing him up last night.
Well,
he's over. It's over. It is over. So that is it for Take It.
That's it for Take It or Leave It. All right, that's it for us on this week.
Time to cook.
It's time for me to go to the grocery store, get all the stuff for the weekend, go get the kids in the rain, which is not going to be great, and then go home and start cooking and get ready for baseball. I got a story to write this evening for the post game, but I'm guarded. Like, this is not a spot you want to be in if you're LSU. You got to figure out a way to get 2 games against the best team in the league, but LSU's done this before on many occasions, so hopefully they can do it tonight. I'm excited to watch at the very least. Missed any of the show today? Catch it on demand. We talked LSU football, talked Saints minicamp, talked LSU basketball, talked LSU baseball. It's all there at the Hunt Palmer Show, wherever you find your podcast. Hunt on LSU, get you all your LSU coverage. Hunt on Saints for all your Saints coverage. Appreciate y'all for checking us out each and every day. That's it for us. Matt's going to drive you home next on After Further Review. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. We're back Monday, same time, same place. We'll kick the week off with the Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Before we move on for the weekend, Fabry Chevrolet GMC. Got to remind you about Fabry Chevrolet GMC. They are on Highway 61 in St. Francisville. Been there since October 1st, so they're into the swing of things. You get on by and go see them there in St. Francisville. You can start your buying experience online at FabryChevrolet.com. And I want to remind you, if you're looking for a Chevy Silverado, they've got them. If you're looking for a GMC Sierra, they've got them. They've got new inventory, obviously. They've also got pre-owned inventory as well. Want me to remind you, for those that have got a summer road trip coming up, whether you're going to the beach, whether you're going to the grandparents, whether you're going to the mountains, wherever you may be going with the whole fam, if you need a new ride for that, they can help you at Fabry Chevrolet GMC. Chevy Suburbans, they got them. Tahoes, they got them. GMC Sierras, Yukons, Denali's, they've got those as well. Go by and see them. The customer service you get from the Fabry family is second to none. That's why they've been here in Baton Rouge for 35 years. Check them out online at FabryChevrolet.com, or in St. Francisville, it's FabryChevrolet.com.
I'm all your Lock Meredith.